Okay, so welcome to the Mobile CSP Hangout for September 28th. We're going to start off with some brief introductions. You can just say your name, your school, and what lesson you're currently on. Melissa, can you go first?
Sure. Melissa Farrington, Simsbury High School, and I just finished lesson 210, which is the hardware abstraction. So we're wrapping up the unit and reviewing tomorrow. And I came on mainly tonight because I did the cooperative learning this summer. And so I put together some quiz trade activity for units 1 and 2. So I don't know, it's in PDF form, so I don't know if anybody's interested, but I have that. So I thought Betsy might be interested. So, and I think, who was it? Matt, maybe? Might be interested.
Yes.
So anyway, I have that. So if anybody wants it, just send me an email or whatever, and I'll put it out there.
Yeah, I'll be interested in that because I'm going to be wrapping up tomorrow.
Okay.
Awesome. Matt, you want to go next?
Sure. Matt Lane, Ellington High School, and I will be starting Unit 2.10 tomorrow, and then hopefully finishing it up.
Awesome. Thank you. Larry, you want to go next?
Sure. Larry Bojarski from South Windsor High School. We're on section 2.5, getting through the I Have a Dream projects.
Great. And I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Awesome.
And you'll see me tomorrow too, Pauline?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
What time is your class start tomorrow?
I think I'll get back to you.
Awesome. I think it was around 9:30. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
Betsy, you want to go next?
Hi, Betsy Dillard, Holland, Delmar, Ellington High School. I am on binary, which I think is 2.8. And I'm just finishing up the Blown to Bits. I do a group read, so it takes a little longer.
Great, thanks. Tony, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Anthony Truss. I teach at Conner High School in West Hartford, and we've just finished 210. However, we're wrapping up the Soundboard Creative app, and once that's done, we have to hit the Where's North, and then we'll be done with Unit 2.
Very good. Mike, you want to go?
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Michael Wilco's, Hall High School. We finished up 3.2 and 3.3 Friday and today. The kids really ate it up, and they made the 3.3 changes without seeing 3.3, so that was pretty impressive.
That is good.
Awesome. Michelle?
Hi, Michelle Murphy, East Lyme High School, and we're finishing Unit 2, and I want to do the drills, but I wasn't able to access them through Trinity when you put the link in. So, and I also did one internet unit on Unit 7. I've done the first unit.
Thanks, Michelle. I do know that the drills, you need to be logged in with a specific email, so you may need to make sure that you're logged in with the East Lyme email that you had given me. And what I can do is send you another link to it in Google Drive.
Okay, thanks.
Dana, you want to go next?
Sure, my name is Dana Kinnell. I teach at the Connecticut IB Academy in East Hartford, and my students just started 2.5, the I Have a Dream projects. That's it.
Awesome. Let's see. For Greg, Greg is here, but he said he's speechless. He forgot his laptop. Greg is at Enfield High, and he just finished up Unit 2. Ralph, do you want to go?
Okay, Ralph Morelli, Trinity College, Hartford. I'm not teaching mobile CSP this semester. I'm missing it. I am, however, making an edX course that's getting very crazy.
That is coming up pretty fast. Did I miss anyone? Jim, you want to go?
You missed Jim.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself? What lesson you're on?
Jim Wasaskis, Hartford Magnet Trinity College Academy, and started paint pot and paint pot projects today.
Awesome. Okay, so I think that's everyone. So Pauline, the mobile CSP teaching consultant, I go around and help all of you. Most of you haven't seen some of the experienced teachers. I'm helping in the classrooms and seeing the great work that you're doing. And I'm also teaching this course, mobile CSP, at Trinity this semester. And my students are currently working on 3.2 and 3.3. And that's my cat. Okay, great. So if anybody else comes in, we can have them just give their quick updates. Updates coming from me. I'm going to say it again, and I know I keep emailing it, but pre-surveys, pre-surveys, pre-surveys. Some of you have 100% completion. Yay! Some of you are missing anywhere from 1 to all of your students having taken the survey. It's really important that we get that done. We're getting to almost October here, and it is meant to be a pre-survey. So I would like to finish it up with the next couple of days. If you aren't sure who still owes the survey, you can check your spreadsheet. I've been trying to keep that updated to see who hasn't completed it. And if you still need to schedule your survey, please get me the emails as soon as possible so we can get that taken care of. Okay. Are there any questions about the pre-surveys? Again, this is one thing that you are responsible for doing in order to be eligible for the stipend at the end of the year. Everybody's good? Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So the agenda has a link to the next CSTA meeting. If you were at CSTA, it was wonderful to see you a couple weeks ago. The meeting took the place of our Hangout. It was really informative. Tony and Mike actually presented on Raspberry Pi curriculum that they're working on, and a lot of updates going on from the state and progressing with CS. So make sure that you're checking the mailing list for that and getting the info. But I did want everybody to have the heads up that we do have the next meeting is being hosted at Trinity on November 9th. We hope that you can come. Be a nice little reunion for everybody. Good to be there. That document is linked in. The agenda's there. It will be updated as we go. Still working on it. The other announcement I have for you is the CS10K community. So I neglected this summer to get you. There was a lot going on, a lot of email and forum groups that we were joining. So I'm going to ask that everybody clicks the link in the agenda to the CS10K community, and you register and create an account, and then join the mobile CSP project. So just search for the mobile CSP project, so that way you become registered as one of the 10,000 teachers that was trained, and we get credit for that. It's also a really great resource for connecting with the other teachers that are on there. There are other projects that have their resources that they're sharing. So please, when you get a moment, please fill in the registration and ask for permission to join the mobile CSP group. under projects. If you have questions, let me know. Does anybody else have any updates that they want to share? I don't know, Ralph, do you have anything that I'm forgetting? No? Jim, do you want to mention about your grant?
It's still a work in progress. It's to bring exploring computer science to Connecticut schools, not an AP, but just a general computer science survey class. Right now I have 7 schools signed up. We need 25, so still working that, and I got about a week to do it. So unfortunately the state doesn't give you a lot of time to put this stuff together. So hopefully we'll get going, and just putting out everywhere I can, trying to get any school interested, because part of the grant is they want high need schools, which Hartford is. So we're just looking at putting schools together, and there'll be training in the summer, and there'll be a stipend and stuff like that too. So it'll be possibly looking at one of the research things would be to see if this general course will allow kids to take more AP computer science courses after they've taken a general survey class. So it's one of the research questions we're looking at right now. So if anybody's interested and think your district's interested, just drop me an email. There's a little bit of paperwork, I'm not going to lie to you, that needs to be done. And like I said, we have to get it in a short period of time. So hope everybody be interested.
Jim, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Having just received that email, I haven't had a chance to get in touch with Jackie Coracelli. However, last month, her and I were talking about it, and I sent her an email this evening after receiving your email.
Okay.
I was just wondering, have you been contacted by her yet, or have you received any paperwork? Because there was an interest in West Hartford at Connor High School.
Well, that'd be great. No, I haven't received anything yet. But since you just put it out, hopefully I'll be getting it tomorrow.
All right, I'll try to touch base with her and see where we are with that.
All right, that'd be great. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I also sent you an email. One of my administrators asked me to look into a course that was lower level, and you just gave me a whole course. So thank you.
Thanks. Just like I said, it's the paperwork. That's the paperwork deadline. I have to have things submitted to Hartford by October 8th. We're looking at.
So you have to have it signed from an administrator?
Yeah, it needs a principal. It needs to be signed from an administrator. There's a little bit of a needs assessment. As soon as you you sign up, I will send you the paperwork, and I will give you some of the information to help you write your needs assessment and get.
We're not a poverty school, but we do have a high percentage of special needs and disabilities kids.
That's not the issue, because Hartford, and we have New Britain on board too, possibly. So those are our high need schools. So we can start taking on a bunch of other schools now.
So you can take on us.
Yes, we can.
Cool.
Okay. So I really appreciate it. So give me an email, I'll send you the link, and even the grant writers have helped to offer school districts who need help writing the stuff to help them complete some of the paperwork if they need.
Yeah, I just sent it to my administrator tonight.
Okay.
You gave it to me, I gave it right over. So,
like I said, the 8th's the deadline. The 13th is when I got to submit it to the state.
I'm gonna tell her it has to be in by the 3rd.
Okay.
Go ahead.
On deadlines?
Are you getting good response, Jim?
Like I said, I had 7 schools. The first day I had 6 schools sign up when Hartford originally put it out. I got St. Augustine's actually in Hartford. Was the private school that actually joined today. And we mostly need high schools, but we're going to try to, if middle schools want to, it's high school first, and then middle school teachers will follow in line after that.
Did Emma sign up?
I'm trying to get her to work for CREC for me. I'm definitely trying to work that angle. I sent her stuff today. I tried to call her and say if she could talk, but she wasn't available today.
Okay.
We are presenting together next Monday at the STEM conference and at the Science Center. So at the very least, too, we have a full conference for mobile CSP. It's fully booked. So we at least have 40 people in a trapped audience for us there too.
Cool.
Michelle, you raised your hand.
Yeah, Jim, this is Michelle Murphy, East Lyme High School, and my principal sent me an email that originated with Learn, and Learn is trying to get together 30 people to do a similar thing, and theirs is through code.org. Is that the same thing you're working on?
We're actually working with the ECS people, not through code.org. We're looking at it through the actual source.
Who is ECS?
It's Exploring Computer Science. They're out of UCLA.
Okay.
Gail and can't remember their names right now. Yeah, so
Okay.
they're the people originating. So Learn, are they doing the same grant? I don't know.
Yeah, it said it was a grant. I can forward the email to you.
Okay.
But my principal's interested, but I'm not sure exactly how it would come about. But I know he's very interested. So I'll try to search back for your message and see what I can get done.
Okay, that'd be great. I've been looking up too because I have a list of all the people in the grant too who are in. So I gotta see. I hope I'm not having competition. You just kind of made me.
You're having competition from Learn.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Any other questions? Okay, I'm done.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Okay. So if there's no other updates or announcements, anybody have anything else? Everybody's good? One thing I just thought of that I hadn't put on the agenda was I know Chinma had me send out the ESPN Steam Fest. I didn't know if anybody else took advantage of the opportunity, but I did. And I have a couple of my students from my Trinity course that are going to present a mobile CSP. They'll probably be like paint pot or something. So we'll be doing that. That's October 24th. We're registered to do that in Bristol, Connecticut. So I didn't know if anybody else had signed up for that or not. All right. So I'll be representing mobile CSP in Trinity. Woohoo! And no other announcements. I guess we can start a quick discussion. I'm not sure what topics you're always welcome to send me suggestions for things that you would like to talk about with the group, or things for like a tutorial that maybe you would like to see done, and maybe someone could share their expertise. No one has done that so far. So the topic I'm putting out there for discussion is, how are you preparing for Unit 3? Everybody is either in the middle of Unit 2, end of Unit 2, or starting Unit 3. So how are you preparing for Unit 3? And has anyone done a quiz yet? Right? So the quiz folder is there for you to use. Don't forget, and the end of Unit 2 is usually a good place to do the quiz. So feel free to take this time to share whatever thoughts you would like to, or any experiences you had, or ask questions. I know some of you aren't quite yet to Unit 3, you're not quite there. Maybe you have questions you want to ask the group. Yeah, feel free to jump in with whatever thoughts you have and how you've been preparing, and whether or not you have used the quiz yet.
All right.
Yeah, Pauline.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I did a quiz last week, section 2.9, Where's the North app. What I found was I spent a lot of time, going over how to use App Inventor and things like that. So what I did with 2.9 is I told the kids, here's the background information, here's the tutorial, go through it, read it, follow it along. I wanted to see, how well they're able to take information and then be able to apply it. What I found with my kids, as you've seen, they're very unmotivated to do anything that is not run by myself. So what I found is that they weren't reading any of the material because they were asking me questions that was covered in that background in the preliminary section and also through the tutorial. So what I did is I made a quick quiz on the key points in 2.9 and gave it to the kids to show them, what that is important, that you have to read the material. I haven't graded that yet, but I don't think the scores are that great. Like I said, as you saw, Pauline, they're not very motivated to do, the reflections and, to do any extra work outside of App Inventor. So
I have some issues with having students perform the documentation. They're very motivated to do the work in the class and love participating, but just reviewing the portfolios even this afternoon, considering progress reports are going out on the 30th for West Hartford, I was surprised to see how little documentation was actually there. So I'm going to have a little chat, obviously, tomorrow morning moving forward. But I don't know if anyone has has any experience with increasing the motivation to have documentation being taken place. I find that it's definitely a challenge to squeeze all the time or, use the time to get it all done. So I've definitely required that some of this work is done outside of the class. And I think a lot of the students are relying on me providing time in the class to do the documentation.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if anybody else has any strategies or stories regarding that. I did give a quiz on the reading and everything was pretty good. And,
I can interject a little bit.
Sure.
We had an open house and I asked parents if they would like to have a link to their kids' portfolio and get the emails from me when I send out the grades.
Mm.
And they did. And it's really cool. So whenever I grade the kids, I email, I go through their portfolios and I email them the grades and explain stuff. And then I say, these are the gap areas if you want to, have it regraded or repointed. And I get from the parents, my child will be after school on such and such a date. And they're there.
Right.
So I don't always do that, but I've got a couple kids that, yep.
Yeah.
And the parents know who their kids are that get behind. So it's amazing. I wouldn't say it's always that way, but you'd be amazed.
Right.
And it, share a little of the love.
Yeah. All right.
And Tony, what I've done too, Tony, is I've given them the class time. I've given them a good 20 minutes of class time to do the reflections and things like that. And I have about half the class that'll do them and half the class that won't. Alongside, I am finding too that you need to have outside work. They have to do some things at home, but they're just not. A good chunk of my class is just not doing the work outside or inside. So
yeah,
that might help.
Right. Yeah, I have the issue with. I gave a survey to the students and asked, in terms of pacing, am I going too fast or am I going too slow? Would they like me to, speed things up or slow things down? Because I was concerned I was going too fast. And pretty much unanimously, everyone wanted to go faster, which is great. However, the faster we go, the more documentation that's going to pile up. And I obviously don't want to fail my entire class. But I told them that's where their grades are going to be coming from, is their portfolios. So they want to go faster, yet they don't want to do the documentation.
Do you put in grades when they don't have anything in there?
Yeah, I give them zeros.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they'll obviously, I'm assuming they'll change behavior come after progress reports. I'm not concerned about their ability. I'm just concerned about their responsibility level at this point. I would imagine that it will improve. I'm doing the portfolios actually with my other courses and other subject areas. And it started out rough and then it definitely improved. So I'm curious to see the students that aren't doing anything in the CSP course, see when will it actually take a turn for the better.
Yeah, I think that's sort of how it goes. My students, I have some students that are 100% and I have some students that are like 8%.
Right, you're right.
I think the 8%ers are sort of realizing they need to get with the program, especially since we have a test coming up this week. The other thing that I try to do is I try to alternate. One day I try to give them time in class. The next day, do it at home, so that hopefully they can catch up on the day where I give time in class. So I think that helps a little bit. But like you said, if they're goofing off, they're goofing off. It doesn't matter how much time you give them. They're going to take the time and chit chat with a friend or something. So that I don't think it's a time issue as much as a motivation issue. So
Yeah.
I think they do get better. What I saw last year is after first quarter, I think that they get more in the groove, and they all realize that if they don't do them, they're not going to get the grade. And and I had the chat last year, you either need to get with the program or you need to drop. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of motivates. So you're close to the end of when you're doing grades now. So
Right.
that conversation, that might make a difference too.
Right. To be honest, I haven't given them much time in class to do the documentation, just because I want to kind of keep the pace. And so I'm kind of battling where if I didn't have a group to kind of share and say, here's where I am, let's compare our results, I probably would be going at a slower pace and then have provided them time to work in class. But I'm feeling like I should potentially speed it up, especially after I did the formative assessment to ask them, do they feel I could go faster? And they all wanted to. And so it's a conflict.
Yeah, I think what they want to do is they want to make more apps, but they don't understand them. And I think if you go faster, they can copy what you're doing and make all the apps for the whole course, but they're not going to understand it. And I think it's a balance between keeping them interested, but also having them really understand what you're doing.
Right.
But what you can do to go faster is you can throw in another twist to it and have them, can they do one from scratch without make another soundboard or whatever, add your own little twist to it and give them a challenge to see if they can do it on their own.
Right.
So you're not covering new material, but you're giving them more programming time to work on. But at the same time, and you can use that as an assessment as well to see if they're understanding. I did that with my students, and they were all gung ho to go ahead, and then I realized half of them didn't know what they were doing. So.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for the input.
I'm trying to encourage them to do a lot of the app work at home, and I'm weighting the documentation more than the apps. So
I would weight the documentation higher than the apps, definitely.
Yeah. And but I still have some students who aren't doing any documentation at all. And so they have zeros. But I think that having the ones that can work at home, they really enjoy like doing the apps at home. And that, because they have all the materials, they need to do it. They have the videos, they have the text, they have everything. And then the documentation part is the harder part, but that's what you do in industry too. I mean, people have to be able to communicate their ideas. So I just try to explain that to them, that's really the most important part.
Well, the other thing is they can copy each other's apps. There's no way I can tell one AIA from another if you copy it over. But boy, I can tell your documentation.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So at Trinity, coming from what Ralph had started, we take all of the reflections and we do like portfolio checks throughout the semester, and then the larger portfolio grade counts as a project grade, so they get a couple of project grades throughout the semester. So they have time to update their portfolio as they go, as long as they get everything on there by a certain time, like a certain time frame. But I know that probably is a little bit harder to do with the high schools. You want to make sure that they're actually doing them as they go and keeping them a little bit more responsible. But maybe the idea of having it, weigh as a higher grade at certain points, certain checkpoints, maybe at the end of each unit, they get a larger grade for having all the reflections for that unit on their portfolio.
Yeah, I have them show me the app, but I don't give them credit for anything until the reflection's complete as well.
No puppies and no little kids. I'm getting bored over here.
I can go get my 8-month-old if y'all want to look at him. He's going to make a surprise visit anyway in a couple minutes.
I got one blowing a horn right now, so you don't want to even.
I got a 4-year-old. He can come in here and bang drums too.
I like that.
Oh, do I want to tell the group the good news?
Yeah.
Tony knows.
Ooh.
Go for it, Mike.
All right, I'm going to go for it. My wife is 13 weeks pregnant.
Whoa! Awesome.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the club of being really tired.
Congratulations.
So I'll go back and I'll say Tony and I were talking in August, and I knew, and he didn't. We were keeping it hush hush, and doing all right by keeping it to ourselves. And Tony's like, "Don't ever have kids, Mike. Don't ever have kids. It's all it's just a drain on your life. You're never." Yeah. And he goes through this whole thing, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh my God, does he realize? Do I want to tell him? Do I want to make him feel bad?" And I just thought it was hysterical.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chinma.
We'll get a grant for him by the time he's old enough. That's cool. Can't top that, Pauline, for an update. You really can't.
That's it. Meeting over.
Pull the Costanza.
Oh, goodness. Hi, Shinla. Still there?
Hello.
Where are your students now? What lesson?
2.1, 2.2.
You've got a whole year though, Chinma.
Yeah, but we moved school, so we are still settling in. So a lot has been very slow. But it's fine. They'll catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is Christopher. Say hi.
Hello.
No.
This guy that makes me not sleep ever.
Very nice, Tony.
Wait till you have another one and have two. You think you have no sleep now?
Oh, I have
This
to.
is the second one.
This is my second one. The first one was a good sleeper. This one is not. It's been almost 9 months and he doesn't sleep through the night. Every 2 hours still. So, but he's a cutie.
It looks good to us.
They always do, right?
You don't need the sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have about less than 3 minutes left in this hangout. I'm not really sure if there are any topics that you still want to discuss, or do we feel like everybody is okay? Do we want to end the meeting a little early and continue sharing ideas through email? Or does someone have really a discussion that they want to throw out there?
Jim, did you want to ask Chinma anything?
Yeah, I do, but I don't want to drag everybody into the same conversation again. And I was hoping, can I call you, Chinma, and have a quick conversation with you?
That's fine.
Okay. I don't want to repeat everything all over again. I'm just disappointed about Learn being in the mix of competition now. I thought I eliminated it all. I consolidated CCSU. I consolidated Wallingford schools. Learn told me, "Oh, we're not doing it." So they were just playing subterfuge and throwing me off the track. All right.
Well, I'll help you if you let me know. I need to try to figure out what I can do because we're actually not in the consortium. East Lyme High School is separate. We are not in the consortium. We broke away from them this year, and so they're probably trying to pull us back in, but we are not. We went ahead and did our own funding with the state.
So is Learn, what does Learn stand for? Learn is a Connecticut group?
It's like a correct, it looked like.
Yeah, it's
correct ACEs.
And they've contracted with code.org?
Yes, and they said they need to have 30 teachers to run the training, and but it's supposed to happen like 1 week in the summer, and my principal is very interested, and so I mean he won't really care, you know, what vehicle that we choose, so I just need to get to work on it.
When did they contact you?
Today, the principal contacted me today, and it came in through our curriculum director.
Okay.
And it's also elementary, middle school, and high school.
Oh, so they're doing the whole code.org thing. We're just doing ECS, exploring.
Who is speaking? I didn't get it. Is it Lauren?
Michelle.
Or Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, is your principal doing it through the state?
Learn is,
but we have broken the